Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're on a really exciting mission to unlock a premium coding experience, but completely without the premium price tag. We're going to look at exactly how to run the incredibly powerful Claude Code CLI tool locally and absolutely for free. If you're someone who loves having a top-tier AI coding assistant right there with you, but you dread that creeping anxiety of high API fees, well, you're in exactly the right place. We are going to bridge Claude Code with Ollama, and trust me, it's going to completely change how you develop on your machine.
Okay, let's dive into this by looking at the elephant in the room. If you were to just use standard Anthropic models natively, specifically their powerhouse Opus model, you are looking at paying anywhere from $5 to $25 per million tokens. And for a heady coder who's constantly pinging the AI to read, edit, and generate entire files, man, that meter spins incredibly fast. It sets up a real financial hurdle for developers who just want to experiment freely.
So we've got a stark contrast here. Think of the standard route as a taximeter. It gets really expensive, really fast. Contrast that with our destination, local Ollama models. Because they run entirely on your own hardware or via free alternative cloud networks, the API cost is literally zero. It's the ultimate journey to truly free, unrestricted coding assistance. No limits.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. 1. The zero-cost mission. 2. Preparing Windows. 3. Core tool installation. 4. The proxy route. 5. Direct launch. And 6. The spec test. Don't worry if all this command line jargon usually makes your eyes glaze over. We are going to break everything down into crystal clear, manageable steps.
Section 1. The zero-cost mission. Free premium coding. Remember, the overarching goal of this explainer is super straightforward. We're unlocking that premium AI assistant inside your terminal without paying a single dime for the API. To pull this off, we're leveraging local and custom models, specifically incredibly capable AI like Qwen 2.5 Coder or Minimax M2.5. By using Ollama, we bypass traditional corporate API fees entirely. You're either utilizing your own computer's raw processing power, or you're tapping into free cloud-based model networks that Ollama provides access to.
Section 2. Preparing Windows. Git Bash required.
Before we pull down those amazing models, we've got to prep our environment. Now, Claude Code is a powerful tool, but on Windows, it demands a very specific setup to thrive. The absolute non-negotiable prerequisite, Git Bash. If you skip this, the Claude installer will actively check for it, and the whole process will literally just fail. So grab the executable from git-scm.com, run the setup with defaults, though VS Code is a fantastic default editor if you use it, and make absolutely sure you check the box to add a Git Bash profile to the Windows terminal before hitting finish.
Next up is a slightly tedious but absolutely crucial step. Without it, your terminal will practically have amnesia every time you type Claude. You have to dive into your Windows system properties, open environment variables, find the system path variable, click edit, and then paste the Claude path exactly as provided by the installer. Please do not skip this. If you do, your terminal will have literally no idea what you mean when you try to launch the tool later on.
Section 3. Core tool installation. Claude CLI and Ollama.
All right, with our Windows environment prepped and primed, we can move smoothly into the installation of our actual core tools. Let's kick things off with Claude Code. Provided you have Node Package Manager installed on your system, you simply need to open up PowerShell and run this exact command: npm install-g at anthropic-ai/Claude Code. This tells your system to globally install the Anthropic CLI tool so it's available from any folder on your machine. Now, here's a pro tip. During this process, when Claude prompts you to log in with an Anthropic account, you actually want to hit Control-C to just skip it. We don't want to log in, because we're going to use Ollama instead.
Which brings us right to Ollama. You'll head over to ollama.com and download the Windows installer. Just a heads up, it's a pretty hefty file, around 1.2 gigabytes, so give it a second. Once you run the installer, it sets up a really nice graphical user interface on your machine. To actually connect your device to Ollama's available cloud-based models, you will need to complete a quick mandatory sign-in step using either a Google or GitHub account. Once you see device connected successfully, you are ready to roll.
Section 4. Method 1. The proxy route. Light LLM middleman. Now that both of these amazing tools are sitting on our system, how do we actually make them talk to each other? Well, we have two distinct methodologies based on our source material. The first utilizes a brilliant tool called Light LLM as a proxy. And this brilliantly illustrates the magic behind the scenes. Claude Code sends out requests, completely assuming it's talking to standard Anthropic servers. But we've intercepted it with our Light LLM proxy on port 4000.
The proxy seamlessly remaps that request and hands it straight over to port 1143.4, where our local Qwen 2.5 coder model is eagerly listening. It is such a clever trick that fully bridges the two systems.
Setting this up just requires a quick three-step dance in the terminal. First, grab Python 3.11 using the Windows Package Manager. Next, use pip to install LiteLLM and WebSockets. Finally, after ensuring the proxy-specific version is good to go, you fire the final command that spins up the proxy on port 4000 and explicitly tells it to route to the Ollama/Qwen 2.5-coder model. Boom, your bridge is up.
The final piece of this proxy puzzle happens right in PowerShell. We need to actively redirect Claude's traffic away from Anthropic's paid servers. By setting the Anthropic base URL environment variable to HTTP localhost 4000 and changing the API key to simply Ollama, we are essentially forcing the Claude CLI to blindly send all of its prompts directly into our waiting proxy.
Section 5. Method 2. Direct Launch Native Connection. Now, while the proxy route is incredibly powerful and flexible, there is actually a second, arguably much cleaner method to achieve this connection natively. Ollama actually provides a built-in launch command that totally bypasses the need for a proxy middleman. All you do is open up a command prompt in the specific target folder you want to work in, say a demo directory inside your documents. Then you simply run Ollama launch Claude followed by the -- model flag and your model of choice. In this specific example from our sources, we're utilizing the cloud-based Minimax M2.5 model. Hitting enter on this command bridges the tools directly and immediately opens the Claude Code interface. Super clean, right?
Section 6. The spec test. Does it actually work? Whichever method you ended up choosing, you ultimately arrive at the most important part of this explainer, the climax. Testing if our newly bridged, totally zero-cost setup actually works in the real world. The interface will pop up and ask you if you trust this folder, warning you that Claude Code will be able to read, edit, and execute files within it. You type yes, and now we test it. We type a simple but very revealing prompt. Give me the spec of this PC. Can the AI assistant, powered entirely by the Minimax model and routed through Ollama, successfully read our local machine's hardware?
So the crucial point is, yes, it absolutely can. After asking for permission to run a few underlying bash commands, the model securely retrieves the data and spits back exactly what we asked for. It perfectly identifies the processor as an Intel 64 family, confirms the machine has 48 gigabytes of RAM, and correctly identifies the operating system as Windows. Our bridge is fully operational, guys, and the AI is interacting flawlessly with our local environment.
And honestly, here is the best part. A super quick, shortcut tip to verify that our mission was a total success. Inside the interface, if you hit Alt+P on your keyboard, or just type a question mark, you pull up a menu of your active models and their costs. When you look at the default Anthropic models on that list, you'll see those steep prices listed, like the Opus version sitting there at up to $25 per million tokens. But when you look at our custom Minimax model, it shows absolutely nothing. It is totally, completely, 100% free.
We've done it. We successfully bypassed the expensive standard APIs, prepared our Windows environment, installed the core components, and bridged them to read local data seamlessly. Now that you have a completely free, local AI coding assistant securely mapped to your files, the only question left is, what are you going to build first? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy zero-cost coding.